All right, Pickle. We were gone.
Yes.
We left the friendly confines of the nurturing biosphere of the mothership.
We left the entire state.
We left the entire state. And we went to Nevada.
Nevada.
I think it's Nevada.
I say Nevada. I don't like the hard A. That's just like Colorado and Colorado. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like the hard A. Southern girl.
So we went out to Las Vegas. On Monday afternoon, we had a flight out there to Las Vegas.
Yeah, shout out Mallory again for running the show that day.
Yes. Because we were going out there for the National Association of Broadcasters annual show. Now, there's a bit of a story behind this.
Yes.
Back in 2019.
Let's go to the way back machine.
Back in 2019, our boss, Adam, came to us and said, I was just in Las Vegas for the NAB show, and A, this thing is amazing and you guys need to go, and B, there was no reason for me to be there, is what Adam said.
Yeah.
He was like, this is all super technical over my head. I don't know what I'm looking
Yeah.
at. But I know that you guys could benefit from it. And so we tried to go in 2020. Guess what? We tried to go in 2021. Guess what? Finally, in April 2022, we got to go.
We tried to go twice in the year, technically 2021, because they had moved it, they said, from April to October. So there was like 3 different times we tried to go.
Yeah.
Out of the 2 years,
I'm
technically.
trying to attend this thing for a long time. And if you don't know, the National Association of Broadcasters show is essentially just like a playground of broadcast stuff.
And it's the largest broadcasting convention in the entire world. And I was telling you this, but about 25% of the people that were in attendance out of we're talking thousands of people.
Probably hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, 25% of them are from overseas. So this is a lot of international companies.
Heard a lot of accents.
Yeah.
Heard a lot of accents.
But it's not just like broadcasting, like talking broadcasting. It's equipment purposes too. Like there was like a helicopter booth for like sky cams on helicopter. You know, like this isn't just what we do here.
So when we go to the THSCA Coaching School and Convention, that's a massive show.
Huge.
It's a massive show.
14,000 coaches.
Yeah, and I believe they had like 120 different exhibitors last year.
Which is a lot.
It's a
If you're
ton.
in a room with 120 different booths, that's a lot.
This had over 900.
Yep.
It was
Booths.
enormous. And so we went out there and wandered around, got to look at a lot of cool stuff. You were in your bag.
I was in nerd heaven.
You really were. You were in tech nerd heaven. Going around talking to people. You were in classes as well. They do these seminars, and you got to learn a whole lot from a lot of experts. What's so interesting about this? You go out there, and there are people. It feels like there's 2 groups of people, and we aren't in either group. There's the people who are from giant media corporations, giant broadcasting outlets, giant organizations that do some sort of broadcasting. ABC News Radio.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm the technical director for a Fox affiliate in Nashville.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. Those types of
Like
things.
Lester Holt spoke at one point, you know?
Exactly. On the other side, you have like, I don't even want to say individual content creators, because what I don't mean like YouTubers.
They call themselves creatives.
Yes,
that's what
creatives.
Yeah,
kind of freelance.
That's what
people,
they deem them.
People who are editors, people who are kind of one man bands.
and it's funny because when you put it in the perspective this way too, it can be one of those creatives can technically work on like the Avatar movies or whatever. Like
Yes.
it can be for a huge production, but they're freelance hired out working on for Sony or Pixar or whatever, that type of thing.
Exactly. And so there were both of those. And we kind of aren't either.
Yeah.
What I found so interesting is we were walking around and we would kind of introduce ourselves to people and start talking to them, and we'd start explaining what we do. Hey, we do a variety of podcasts. We have a studio space. We do a
Live
lot of,
shows.
we have live shows.
We have a website.
We have a streaming service that broadcasts. Next year it'll be 2,600 live events and things like that.
We do freelance for Bally, that type of thing.
that
You know,
type of
it's
stuff.
like
We kind of do a lot of little things.
yeah.
So we're not big, but we're not small.
Yeah.
And the reaction from all these people was like, "Oh, you are different."
Yeah.
You are very interesting. I want to listen. I want to listen to what you have to say. So that was kind of cool. We're not out there with a multi-billion-dollar budget, but we're also not out there just trying to scrape together a gig. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So we had a great opportunity, and I thought it was so interesting that like 75% of the stuff there is not for us and never will be for us. Like
the helicopter.
Like the camera that you
Although
attach
I
to a
think it would
helicopter.
be awesome.
Like the VR stuff. You know what I mean? Like that type of stuff was never going to be for us.
Right.
But then there's like 25% of stuff that certainly is right up our alley, and we can use and we can help to make our broadcast and what we do here as good as we can.
Yeah, you brought it up, and we can just tell them. I went to a bunch of different classes, and some of them were going to like switcher classes, which we use, like the board that we use for
when
the
we
show
talk about
and
old
stuff.
girl, we mean the switcher.
Yeah, but I also went to one class, and it was talking about kind of like virtual reality editing and stuff like that. And so like the guy there had helped work on Avatar, or he had helped work on sci-fi and whatever, all that stuff. And it's like, did I ever need to know some of the stuff he was saying? No, but it is crazy how you can look at like a macro scale like that, and you can find those little micro nuggets that you can use and stuff. And like some of that virtual reality stuff, there was like depth of field behind doing it behind a screen and stuff. So it's like, it is funny how everything is very basic, but that it can branch out into so many different directions.
Absolutely. And so, the amount of equipment in this room, Will and I, it was the three of us, myself, Pickle, and Will Wilkerson. We went out there, and Will, you were in a class at one point. Will and I were just walking around, and Will turned to me. He's like, there is like billions of dollars of equipment in this room right now.
It's insane.
The other thing that I thought was so interesting, and I guess this makes sense because this is the way to do it. At a lot of these places, there's obviously a lot of people selling cameras, right? Canon and Sony, big camera companies, right? And they have these massive booths. And one of the things that they do is they want you to try out the camera.
Yeah.
But they want you to try out the camera not by just like pointing it and zooming and stuff like that. They want you to be like as if you're shooting something. And so what they will do is they will have what I would only describe as like live scenes. Happening. Like
for an example, there was one of them, and it looked like you were in Paris. Like from what you could see on the camera, it was a sitting at a table. There's like the Eiffel Tower behind you, kind of thing. Like it's a movie set that they bring in on the show floor.
And they want it to be like, not to get too far in the weeds, but like they want it to be lit differently in different parts, so that you can test the camera in different ways, how it handles these things. Okay. But part of what makes this so strange is there was another one. It's like this woman who's playing cello. She's up there. She's in a red dress. She's playing cello. And all I kept thinking is like, these people, this woman up there is hired to sit there and just like sit there. Yeah. And have the camera pointed at her.
There was one.
She's not talking. She's not doing anything. She's on her phone. She's just sitting there.
They're paid actors. And there was one where it was I think it might have been the Paris one. There was a couple that was supposed to be on a date. So there was cameras pointed, like one at the guy, one at the girl, one at both of them, one from behind. So you could see all the different angles and, like you said, the lighting. But yeah, it's literally two people who probably didn't know each other beforehand sitting there having to have small talk like they're on a date for
8 hours.
8 hours while the showroom's open.
It was one of the more bizarre things I think I saw there. But we had a great time, and we learned a lot, and hopefully we'll be able to implement some of the stuff that we had in what we do, and then also, hopefully we can upgrade some equipment and all that fun stuff. So that was fun. The city it was in, I don't know if you've ever heard of Las Vegas.
Most people haven't.
One of the things that I think is very interesting, I don't know if you know this, but there's a big sports event happening tonight, starting tonight. The NFL Draft.
Yes. And
the NFL Draft is in Las Vegas.
I
think you posted on Instagram about you took a photo of
the stage.
Of the stage or something. And I think everybody assumed you were there covering the draft.
Yeah, and I was like, no. I'm over here trying to be a technical nerd.
Yeah, we're here trying to learn how to zoom. But what is so intriguing, we we walked by one stage, which is in the fountains of the Bellagio. It's in the fountain.
Yeah, like in where the fountains are going off, like the whole stage is on the water.
And then west of the, let me make sure, east of the strip. East of the strip is where the big set is, and it is this massive, cacophonous, what looks like an airplane hangar.
Yeah, it looks like it's a giant amphitheater, basically.
A giant. giant amphitheater where they've got the stage set up, and it really does put into focus what happens when an organization with that much money decides to throw a party.
Yeah, because in the pawn thing of the Bellagio, it wasn't just the state. Like, I think we talked about it, I think they're doing the first round draft picks from there. Like, Roger will definitely be standing on that stage. But there was another stage off to, like, the left of it that had a TV set on it. So we didn't know if it was NFL Network or ESPN or whatever, but there are two stages actually on the water.
Right. And so that was super cool.
That was really cool to see.
We did notice Tuesday night as we were walking around, I think it was Will who brought it up. He goes, looks like there's a lot more NFL jerseys walking around. There's like guys who are flying in for the draft, which always seem weird to me. I don't know. Like,
not we talked about this, though, not in Vegas, though, because there's other stuff that you can do. If you're going to one in, like, when it's in Detroit in a couple years, I'd be kind of going, The other thing we noticed, too, and we actually asked one of the security guards, but there are security guards standing at that stage for 24 hours. Like, ever since it's been set up there, because there's giant, like, huge jib cameras and all that stuff just out there. It's all covered up and stuff. But they were like, we have to have 24-hour surveillance out here.
Sure.
And they said they're closing down half the strip for it.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. We did wander the city. We did find our way into some of the local establishments they have there. And this is the first time I was wearing my little smartwatch over the course of Monday and Tuesday, which counts for. We walked a ton at the show, right? There's that because the floor is so huge.
It's massive.
But then also just walking around in Vegas, 26 miles we counted. So that's cool.
The feet were hurting yesterday.
Dogs were barking.
Yeah.
Dogs were barking.
Because I was also in, like, business, like, kind of business casual attire, so I had on sandals. I didn't have on, like, tennis shoes. Oof.
See, I wore my kill shots, and they were held up great. Now, I won't go too far into. There's a few different things. One, I won't go too far into the extracurricular activities, but we did make our way on Tuesday night at Pickle's request over to Fremont Street, which is Fremont Street is the downtown,
like the old strip,
old
basically,
Vegas.
is what people call it.
Old Vegas. Had a great time. There's a hotel there. I guess we'll just blow them up. Call.
Go. I hope that you're talking about what I think you're talking about.
I was going to talk about Circa.
Oh, yes.
I was going to talk about the sports book because you told me you've never done the sports book.
I had not. No, I had only ever been to Vegas twice beforehand. One when I was young, and the other one was for a friend's 21st birthday, and she's not a sports fan. So that was just not, it wasn't my birthday. That was just not on the agenda.
Sure. So, now I had never been to, I love the sports book. I love that. It's one of my favorite things. I had never been to this one. It must be a relatively new casino.
Yes.
That's the most impressive sports book I've ever seen.
It was absolutely amazing. That entire place was just, from stem to stern, was unbelievable.
Unreal. And I think you got a great experience because I did have some Dolores on.
He had a vetted rooting interest, for which we will not say, but he did.
No, I don't mind saying that. I needed Memphis to win. I needed Memphis to beat. And if you remember, if you're an NBA fan, they won on a buzzer beater by Ja Morant.
Yep.
In the final second, made a big comeback, fourth quarter, won it late.
That was an outstanding experience.
And you got to see it. That to me is the magic.
Yes.
The magic there is like you're there. A lot of people around you have different rooting interests, and so the electricity there, whenever like big things are happening. It's choice. It
was great, and there was a gentleman a couple rows down in front of us that had a Memphis jersey on. So seeing his excitement,
it's like he was at the game.
Yeah, exactly. It really was. Well, in that place, to say how impressive this sports book was, when you look over to your left, there's like this elevated kind of glass box, and we were like, that's a TV studio, and it was the.
It's like the sports gambling network or something.
Yeah,
like that.
And so that's where their studios are housed out of. So that's obviously all of the sportsbook is in the background, and I think that was a clear-cut reason as to why. It was just.
It was really nice.
You just marvel at it.
Which one on Fremont Street did you want to talk about?
What did you get to see for the first time? He got to see.
Pickle was very excited about this.
He got to see the Golden Nugget, like not the establishment, the actual Golden Nugget that is in the back of the Golden Nugget.
Pickle was in full tourist mode. And she's like, guys, we got to go see the Nugget.
You had never seen it before. It's really impressive.
It's pretty cool.
It's a huge. I don't remember how heavy it said it is.
Like 64 pounds.
64 pounds or something of gold. It's really cool. It
worth
spins.
Worth like a couple $1 million.
Yeah.
Something like that. So we did get to see that. Yeah, it was a great time. We had a great time out there. We learned a lot. We came back. Yeah. It was information overload. Your notebook was
insane.
Your notebook. She came out of one of these things. She starts flipping. I'm like, is that from like this year? She's like, no, that's from today.
Yeah. It was the first class I had went to. Really early in the morning. We're sitting there, and I'm just writing away.
Yeah. It was also. You were also one of how many women in that class?
I went to a bunch of classes, and I think I saw maybe 2. Maybe 3 women the entire time.
Behind the scenes in media is pretty dude centric.
Yeah, so. It was a lot. I tweeted it out, but if anyone's seen Legally Blonde, where she's the only like blonde female in the entire like Harvard Law School class, that's how I felt because they're like, "Are you lost?"
Yeah. It was a great time.
I can nerd too.
It was a great time. We had a good time. We were all very, very tired at the end of it, but it was all worth it to go out there to the NAB show in Las Vegas.
And anyway, I had a bunch of broadcasting friends reach out to me and it's like, is this worth it? Is this something I should go do? Absolutely, 110%. And like you said, there's something for everyone there. We don't need all of that information, but there was definitely a lot of information that we did need.
Yeah, we don't need like the AI reporter technology.
Oh, that was creepy.
Very creepy.
Very
but
weird.
Like it was so fun. I don't know. I just keep going back to like they've got the helicopter camera, and then they also have like we'll make you the custom foam for your like to go over your
microphones. Yeah.
Like that. So if we wanted to say Dave Campbell's, we could get it.
We could get it. Yep.
So it was a fun time out there. Hey, thanks for watching this clip here on YouTube. If you like this kind of stuff and you want more of it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, you can watch us live every weekday at noon at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, or here on YouTube. And if you want more of the best coverage of football in the state of Texas, check out TexasFootball.com and become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe.